Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Our theme this year is we're going to straighten out tricks in 26. Straighten out tricks in 26. All the tricks is over. Changing the voting line. Straighten out tricks in 26. Selling us product but don't give us our diversity, equity, and engagement and inclusion. Straighten out tricks in 26. The tricks is over. It's fighting time. It's stand-up time. It's correcting time. Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled that you didn't even choose, that were sort of just laid out for you by God, in that it's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. It's Tuesday, January 13th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country, and good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York, and we are here for the next 3 hours to hear your thoughts, your commentaries, your opinions, raise your questions. All you have to do is call us If you want to express yourself, call us at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And I see Happiness Donuts is already on the message board saying, looking forward to a great show and thanks in advance for helping us regular folk inform. 20 years, that's right. That's right, Happiness Donuts. Been on 20 years into this month. And Demetrius Jones says, good afternoon, Reverend Al. Thank you for what you do. We as Black Americans have a lot of work cut out in the coming days and years. Let us continue the fight and not faint. I'm with you there. I see also the mayor, Rodney Jones, was probably the first one on the message board, said, good afternoon, my shepherd, Mr. Mayor. Let me tell you a lot to talk about today. First of all, the House Republicans in the House of Representatives, want to hold Bill Clinton in contempt for not appearing for the Epstein deposition. And I'm going to read it right off the wire. It says, House GOP seeks to hold Bill Clinton in contempt for skipping Epstein deposition. The Republican-led House Oversight Committee says it will move to hold Bill Clinton in contempt of Congress after he declined to appear for subpoenaed deposition tied to the panel's investigation of Jeffrey Epstein, according to Chair James Comer. And Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton said they were not notified, calling the subpoenas legally invalid and warning the contempt process could halt Congress. The committee had also scheduled Hillary's deposition. So if the Clintons are saying they were not notified, and certainly they would have had to be, if you're going to have anybody, you, me, anybody, go in front of a committee, you want not only notification, you want your attorneys and their attorneys to go over the purview of what's going to be questioned. So if they never heard from the attorneys of the Judiciary Committee, then that in and of itself gives credence to whether or not they were informed. We'll see where this goes. What is interesting to me is how the Republicans are so adamant, so on fire about getting the Clintons in front of the committee about Epstein and not get Donald Trump in front of it. And how Trump has dismissed all of it and they haven't said a word. I'm saying get them all in front of it. I'm not defending anybody. Now, you should inform people if they're supposed to be in front of it. But how you have one set of rules for the Clintons and another set of rules for Donald Trump, unless you're trying to distract us. Next, I'm very, very, very much want to talk about this. Representative Ayanna Pressley, one of the best in the Congress. She's introduced a bill to end qualified immunity for ICE officers following the fatal shooting in Minneapolis of Renee Nicole Good. And the removing of qualified immunity, and this is something that we have fought for in the policing bill, it means that officers of the law could be sued and their own personal property, assets, and all is at stake. This is something we wanted and still want in the George Floyd bill for police. She's doing a bill that would encapsulate it be done against anybody, but in specific, at least ICE as well. It's very interesting. The Senate had also Senator Ed Markey said that we must expand accountability for U.S. immigration and custom officers. And Presley and Markey argued, both of them, qualified immunity created by the Supreme Court of the United States in 1967 has been improperly expanded by courts and contradicts the intent of the Civil Rights Act of 1871. Renewed efforts to end it gained momentum after the police killing of George Floyd and the collapse of a bipartisan reform talks. You know, it's interesting to me. Nicole Good killed on film on Donald Trump 2.0 5 years after George Floyd was killed, same city, under the same president. And y'all remember Donald Trump? I think his remarks was, if the looting starts, the shooting starts. Not stand up for justice. It is interesting. A lot of controversy around the fact that President Trump attacked the Fed chair, Powell again, and says he fears independence. And Department of Justice all of a sudden are going to interview Powell on whether or not they did something funny on the building that they're building. And that's going to be an interesting showdown. The other part is that we, of course, are seeing that Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison and Mayor Fry of Minneapolis announced they're suing the cities in behalf of the city with the mayor, state with Keith Ellison, that they are launching a lawsuit against the against the DOE, against the Trump administration. All of this because of the killing of Renee Nicole Good was caused in their city and under their jurisdiction. This is going to be a very interesting lawsuit, but I'm glad to see they're fighting back. I've been in touch. There'll be some announcements tomorrow from the lawyers of Miss Good, and then there'll be some over the weekend from us. Lots going on. So between the continued reaction to this ICE agent killing Miss Good and others, I'm looking at this Porter case in California. In addition to that, we're looking at the whole fact that, as I stated, the House wants to pick a fight with the Clintons. Maybe they're just trying to distract us. And Ayanna Pressley, Congresswoman from Boston area, saying we need to end immunity of ICE agents. And I definitely agree with that. And that's also, as I said, one of the tenets of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, that we got Biden. People don't forget this now. Biden signed it as a presidential policy. But, of course, that does not apply to anybody but the feds, federal law enforcement, until Biden leaves office, which he's gone. That's why we need legislation, not just presidential proclamations. Now, I'm glad that Biden did it, gave a lot of credibility to it, but it went out with him. So there's a lot to talk about. Understand this impacts all of us. Don't wait until it's your child or your grandchild laying up on a slab and want the whole community to stand up when you kept your seat when it was time to stand up for you. All right, let's open up the phones. I left some people on the boards yesterday. They can call in. Let's start taking calls early. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797, or go to our message board at nationalactionnetwork.net. Let's take a break and get it on. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Keeping it real.
We have a young man in the studio who I think is an astounding young brother because of his youth. He's only 19 years old and he's accomplished a lot, and he's here to make a presentation to James Brown, and we'd like to welcome him warmly. His name is Al Sharpton. How about it for Al Sharpton? Al is the national director of the National Youth Movement Incorporated. Right, Al?
That's right.
And what do we have here?
Well, we come to break tradition. We know that in the recording industry that they give a gold record to those that achieve a million seller. But we view your million seller payback as a black record because it is relevant and says many of the things that young blacks have tried to say and could not musically express in our own little way. And we feel the payback is sort of like the theme song of Young Black America in 1974. Yeah.
Now, before you go into the title tune of your latest album, you have a special guest.
Yeah, I do have a special guest, a young lady.
That's going to perform.
We've reduced a lot of our ministry to entertainment. Or who can hoop the loudest? Who could run around the pulpit more? Or who got the dresses fancy and don't deal with the ministry? Jesus healed more people than he preached to. Because there is in the healing your message. They followed Jesus because he healed a woman with the issue of blood. They followed Jesus because Jesus saw a blind man named Bartimaeus. A lot of us would have dismissed him because he was a broke, poor, homeless, a blind man. How you know he was broke, Reverend? Because they say he was begging. But he understood what he was doing because he heard that Jesus was passing by. And when Jesus got close enough, he said, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. They kept telling Jesus, let's go, look, we got a schedule, we got people to see. He said it again, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. And when he did it the third time, Jesus stopped and went and healed the blind man. Now, what I get out of that scripture, Bishop Daughtry, is that the blind man told Jesus, if you are who you say you are, you're going to stop and see me. And if you stop and see me, you will confirm who you are. But when we are pastoring and leading in communities with bad health, we cannot be the followers and representatives of Jesus and walk by people that are sick and we not be part of making them well.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
One, two, three, I got the feeling. Hey, baby, baby, I got the feeling. Oh, I got that feeling, yeah. Hey, 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 got that feeling, y'all. Come on. Feeling, baby. Oh, I got the feeling, y'all. Can you put your hands together? I got the feeling. Oh, won't you say, baby, baby, I got that. Ah! Baby, ow! Feeling, baby. Ow, hey, hey, baby, 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 baby. Come on, sing it out. Baby, baby, come on. Can't hear you. Hey, hey. I got that. Thank you so much. My name is True Osborne. Humbled and honored. All right.
Reverend Sharpton, how do we begin to make peace with our past?
I don't think it's our obligation to make peace with our past. I think it's our obligation to learn from our past and to understand that soon we gonna be the past. I mean, a lot of us act like we gonna be permanent and that the past is the past. If we draw on the strengths of the past and uphold the dignity and the integrity of our people, and then perform it at home.
Reverend Al Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And let me, before I go to the phones and to your message board, let me make these announcements. You that are listening in Philadelphia, URD, the Word, National Action Network is having a community awareness rally. Talk about voter education, voter engagement. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 7 o'clock at the Monumental Baptist Church at 4948 Locust Street in Philadelphia. That's Reverend Jesse Mapson is the pastor. And the speaker for National Action Network tomorrow night will be Reverend Al Sharpton. I'll be in Philly tomorrow night. I expect all of our listeners in Philadelphia to meet me at the awareness rally. And I believe that some of the churches and all had been announced that I had not announced it on the air. And I'm sorry that I'm late announcing it, but I would like to see all of our people there. I'll be there 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Again, Monumental Baptist Church, 4948 Locust Street in Philadelphia. Reverend Dr. Jesse Mapson is the host pastor. And, of course, on Saturday and Sunday, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at MS Now, live at 5 p.m. both days. This is Martin Luther King weekend. Certainly going to be dealing with a lot of the issues. People that are in office dealing with the Affordable Care Act, dealing with the civil rights violations on immigrants. I'm having members of the Senate and the Congress on both. I'm having also Martin Luther King III and Andre Waters King, and talking about what is the state of the dream. Don't forget that they have changed the policy where you used to could go to the national parks up until last year. On Martin Luther King Day and Juneteenth, free federal parks on those 2 days. Now you can't go, got to pay. They're easing into making this holiday null and void. They want to revoke this holiday. So we need to show up at everything this weekend, and certainly make sure you watch Politics Nation this weekend, because we're going to be dealing with all these issues, Venezuela, you name it. And I thank all of you that supported the show last weekend. We did very well again in terms of viewerships. They gave me the numbers on Tuesday, and we get many hundred thousands, over a million watching us every weekend, because you're spreading the word. Keep doing that. It is effective and important. Also, you that are in the Philly area now, make sure you meet me tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at the Monumental Baptist Church, which is on Locust Street, 4948 Locust, and the city of Philadelphia. Then on Saturday is the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice in Harlem. And it's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I want all of our New York people there. It starts our MLK weekend. I'm going to talk about what the dream means now and why they're trying to defer the dream. Mr. Trump is a dream buster. I want everybody there. We'll have the new schools chancellor there, Kamar Samuels, will be at the Saturday Action Rally on Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice, 145th and Lenox Avenue. And then on King Holiday itself, next Monday the 19th, we do what we do annually, 35 years old as an organization. We start in Washington with National Action Network's Martin Luther King Breakfast, and that's at 8 a.m. at Salamander Hotel. And we honor people every year that have done something in the vein of keeping the King dream alive. This year we're honoring former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, who was the Attorney General under Barack Obama as president. We're honoring Sheila Johnson, the black woman entrepreneur, owns more hotels than any black woman in the country. In fact, the hotel we're having the affair, she owns. And she's the co-founder of BET with her ex-husband, Bob Johnson. We're honoring the mayor of Baltimore, who has done an excellent job, Brandon Scott. He's the mayor of Baltimore, brought down a lot of the crime and shootings, particularly the shootings in Baltimore, showing that element there. We want to honor him. And we're honoring Donna Brazile, the Democratic strategist. And that's 8 a.m. in Washington. Then we fly back to New York. At 1 p.m. starts our National Action Network Public Policy Forum. And I've hosted that the last 35 years. And we're at the House of Justice, 1 o'clock, 145th and Lenox. That's where we have the elected officials come before the people and say, this is what I've done in the spirit of Dr. King, what King would want me to do. We have the governor coming, Kathy Hochul. We have the mayor coming, Zoran Mandani. We have Attorney General Tish James coming. We have Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. The list go on. And we'll give everybody a few minutes so you can hear them in person. Getting the elected officials to come in and of itself is showing respect to Dr. King and the King movement, because NAN comes out of the lineage of Dr. King. I started in King's organization when I was 12 years old, became youth director of the chapter of his organization in New York when I was 13, the year he died, the year he was killed. Now, there are some people that don't agree with Dr. King. Didn't agree then, don't agree now. And you have that right. That's not your holiday, maybe. It's ours. That believe in it and that benefited from it. It's not a day on shopping. It's not a day off to go shopping or a day off to sleep late. It's a day on. And make sure you're there. And, some of us try to find division and confusion no matter what. I remember one year I had, when Bloomberg was mayor, I wanted him there. He came, give me your account on what you've done that King would agree with. Well, remember out, some guy asked me on the way out, I don't even know why you had him here. I said, well, first of all, because we want to hold him accountable. Well, that's why y'all in that King thing. I ain't in that. Then why did you come? If you don't believe in Dr. King, and those of us doing what King did to hold people accountable, that's how you change laws and policy. Then why'd you come? I don't break in your house trying to do stuff that you do. Y'all eat what you want to eat. Sleep on the floor if you want to. But don't come in our house that's in a certain lineage and complain about we ain't doing what you do. I don't do what you do. Just that simple. All right, let's get ready to take a break. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Our theme this year is we gonna straighten out tricks in 26. Straighten out tricks in 26. All the tricks is over. Changing the voting line. Straighten out tricks in 26. Selling us product but don't give us our diversity, equity, and engagement and inclusion. Straighten out tricks in 26. The tricks is over. It's fighting time. It's stand-up time. It's correcting time. That I want to end. He talked about the dry bones in the valley.
I'll tell you that.
The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked. So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body. We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is that we're the children of people that have been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality that ever lived, that ever existed. Our parents survived the Middle Passage. Only the strong got here, and then we lost our name, our culture, our religion, and we're still here. But you don't know who we are. We're the children of Chaka Zulu. We're the children of Mary McLeod Bethune. We're the children of Marcus Garvey. We're the children of Martin Luther King. We'll be here. We were first and we'll be last. We know who we are.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, "The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born." I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me, and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to know.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Young, powerful preacher of social justice gospel, and Reverend Gardner Kelly.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. And I've announced what we're doing the next few days going into this MLK weekend that they're trying to stop. For you that want to make sure you have a seat on King Day, the activities we're having on Monday, you can, of course, go to the website www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and sign up, because I know for the policy forum in New York, we always run out of space, so we go by the list, and the breakfast as well. And then, of course, everybody, I'm getting already probably the earliest big number of response that I've ever had for our convention. This is our 35th year anniversary convention. We've got everybody coming. People say, who's speaking this year? Who's doing the workshops? Whatever you can imagine, that's who we got for our 35th anniversary. So get your seat now. I'm going to announce the lineup in 2 weeks, but get your seat now and say, Remal, I'm coming 1 day, I'm coming 3 days, I'm coming the whole 4 days. It's April, the month Dr. King was killed. That's why we do it as Keepers of the Dream. The theme of the convention this year is straightening out tricks in 26. They're trying to trick us out of the vote, trick us out of our DEI, our contracts. And so sign up, say I'm going to be there these days. I want to make sure that I'm in the rally, and we will, the workshops, the rallies, the luncheons, the dinners. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or call right now the toll-free number at 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651. And again, somebody texting saying, where will you be in Philly tomorrow? That's tomorrow night. That's Wednesday night, the 14th. That's on the eve of King's actual birthday. And it's a NAN rally at Monumental Baptist Church, 4948 Locust, L-O-C-U-S-T, Locust, in Philadelphia. Reverend Dr. Jesse Mapson is the pastor. I'll be there 7 p.m. tomorrow. Philly, show up. Show out. It's free. Just show up. I'll be there. All right, let's go to Trisha's on the board saying, straightening out tricks in 26. That's right, Trisha. You got the theme. I think that it is absolutely amazing I see Marby, what is this? Marble art. Marble art, I hope I'm saying it right. So, Reverend Al, I had to have missed it, but in case I didn't, please speak on the naked absurdity of 47 saying civil rights secured in the 60s resulted in white people being treated unfairly. I talked about that yesterday. I'm certainly going to light it up on Politics Nation this weekend with some of the senators and congressmen. But let me give you a little preview. Donald Trump, in a 2-hour interview with the New York Times, and when they got to diversity and inclusion, he said civil rights in the 60s hurt white people. That's a direct quote. He said that helped some people. It was all right for some people, talking about blacks. But it hurt white people because we couldn't get the jobs that we were supposed to have, that we were qualified for. This is the first time, to show you how egregious this is. This is the first time a sitting president questioned the impact of the civil rights movement. And for people to sit by and act like that's not as racist as you can imagine is that you're deluding yourself. I've seen some people try to do backflips rationalizing what Trump said. You can't sugarcoat that one. Civil rights movement hurt white people. So I guess it hurt white people that we had the right now to sleep in hotels since we were already paying the property tax they built on. I guess it hurt white people that we can go to public schools that we pay tax for kids to go. I guess there are white people that you can have restaurants that we provide the tax dollars that give it sanitation workers and policing that we can eat in the restaurant too. Hurt them. Had to deal with black folks. And y'all are sitting up not going to rallies, not going to conventions, not going to any meeting. And the man telling you in your face, to give you your rights hurts us, because it hurts us to give you all your rights. It hurts us. We're superior. Let's go to Cooper in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Cooper, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Reverend Al, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Rev, as I sit in my office today, I can't even believe I'm asking you this question. And it's about, what's ongoing with Trump slammed the Civil Rights Act. Rev, how do you, what implications do you think that will have on the ongoing struggle for racial equality in America? We already got this going on, and for a sitting president to make those remarks about the civil rights movement, I can't wrap my head around it.
Well, I tell you, you're not by yourself, but I'll attempt to answer your question. Thank you for your call. I think that we are already seeing the impact when he's been able to intimidate major corporations into ending diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity, equity, and inclusion meant that we as National Action Network, other groups, government could go in and say, are you fair in who you award contracts to? Are you giving any of the black-owned businesses, Latino, women? You can't do that now because they're not allowed to make a record of it, which means most of them are not doing it. The only reason they did it is because we had laws like the Civil Rights Act where they had to do it. So this is a direct impact on jobs, on people's positions, on people's contracts. You got blacks talking about, I don't believe in none of that, are now being fired because they do not have to keep you, because they don't need to have to report. When a group like mine comes along, they had to report, we make 40% of our money in the black community, but only 2% of our employees are that. They ain't got to report that now. No DEI, I don't keep a record. I can't keep a record. It is a direct impact. They wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't. And I think that when you look at the fact that the culture of this country was so anti-black that they would put on sheets and burn crosses and bomb people's house not to have us there. And he gonna talk about it hurt them in your face. And there's been no reaction from us. Let's go to Demetrius in Cleveland, Ohio, WEIE. Demetrius.
Hey, thank you very Sharpton. It's good talking to you. I just want to talk on the topic you brought up, whether or not the ICE agents should have or not quality immunity. I believe they should have quality immunity, because to now, they can profile people, who they think are immigrants, who not immigrants. A lot of people are being illegally arrested. They're using tactics where some of the city policemen cannot use. And some people in the Trump administration even spoke over the weekend that they want to go house to house, unconstitutionally, and knock on the door looking for people. That's going back to what this country was fighting against in the Revolutionary War, when they didn't want the British, to knock on the door and pulling people out their houses. So it'd be more like a police state, denying people their rights. So they should be held responsible, for what they do, and also, because I believe when you hire people, especially in those positions, some of them have a personal reason why they do things. Say like with a George Floyd, when the policeman had his foot on his neck, that was a personal feeling, because he knew George Floyd before. Even when the young lady got shot in the face a couple of days ago in Minneapolis, after the ICE agent shot her, he called her the B word. So people have their responsible for their personal feelings, because they know they can get sued or they might be incarcerated. They'll think twice before they do certain things. If they feel like they have no restraints, they take their personal feelings to their jobs and act on it. Going back when you had policies to go out and look for people, and have street justice, that the Klan used to do, and other groups as well. Because if the government don't have no restraints on the people, make up reasons why they want to hurt certain groups of people, and when you have this administration who's giving it okay to use any type of force, to accomplish their goals, not just in this country, even overseas. They're using the threats of bullying Iran, bullying Venezuela, bullying Denmark and Greenland, bullying Canada, they're bullying the head of the Federal Reserve. They're using bullying tactics. So they have
hold 1 minute, Demetrius. Let me hold you over. Keep it in real. Sharpton. Be right back. Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich New Dennis for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, cause our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are. Because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you. Turn it into a nightmare. We come to Wall Street rather than Washington this year to let them know you can try to turn back the clock, but you can't turn back time. We gonna keep the dream alive on Wall Street. It's been a long time coming, but I Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network for always in the month he was killed to let them know they killed the dreamer. I have a dream today. When they came for the dream. Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down. And have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're going to have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time, Mariah, Chris, and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. Let's go right back to Demetrius in Cleveland. Demetrius.
Hey, thank you, Reverend Sharpton. I just wanted to say, I believe, this administration, Donald Trump, they have to be held responsible, through the Congress, because the Congress people was elected, to keep the presidential office in check along with the Supreme Court. So when he does things, what he want to do, like with the terrorists, want to declare war on different countries, he can't do that on his own, because he had to be responsible to the American people who are elected the Congress people and in the Senate. So for this democracy to work, he have to go through the Congress. If not that, he keep neglecting the American people, and that's setting up a dictatorship. That's a blank fact, in my opinion. So for him to ignore the Congress, and just say, well, I'm going to impose tariffs on different countries, they don't go along with what I want, or he want to threaten different countries, without any backup of the Congress beforehand, unless it's like an emergency, like when Pearl Harbor got bombed, it had to be a quick decision. But even then, Roosevelt went through Congress, So it's no excuse for it. That's not have to be just someone who's want to do things their way to benefit himself or a certain group of people. And also, I believe even the soldiers, shouldn't have immunity as well. I don't know if they do it now for sure, but if they don't have immunity, they wouldn't carry out, massacre of innocent people or break the law just because their commanders tell them so. They know they're going to be held responsible. They don't have to follow any orders that's outside the law when it comes to denying people their rights here in the United States or around the world when innocent lives are being taken. So they would think twice and they'll report such orders, or they might not carry them out if innocent people being killed, or it's a mass massacres of people like what happened in Israel, even going back to Vietnam when they say innocent people was being killed. So even going back to Tulsa as well, when they called in the National Guard, innocent people was killed. But if they was held responsible, that might not would have happened, even though they were ordered from higher command, but they don't want to have to pay the price for their actions.
Right.
I think twice. Yeah.
No, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's contemptible, incorrigible, whatever word you want to use, that you've got them now talking about going after Senator Kelly, who served at a high level in the armed service, in the armed services, and his wife was shot by a assailant. And you going to court-martial him, take down his rank many years later, just so you can affect his pension, when he gave his life for his country? I mean, this is how ruthless these people are and uncaring they are, Demetrius, even about people that fought wars that they wanted fought.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They have a self-centeredness about them. That's what I said earlier. When it comes to immunity, some people bring in their personal feelings.
Right.
Like you say, they want to take away the general's pension. That's just doing something, just to hurt him, out of the vindictiveness or just to be dirty toward him, because you don't go along with him, or to threaten any other people who might try to stand up. So they would think, well, I might lose my pension before I retire if they're not saying anything. That's why it's important, for the American people, it's important for the Congress to reassure people that they got the right to speak up. Because if you work for any company, if you work for, say, the social services, you work for any company that's dealing with the public, their policy is if you see anything being illegal, report it to your superior.
Right.
Even working the prison system or working at adoption or working any kind of public services. They say we report anything, your co-workers. So that's how it should be in any level of employment as well, because innocent people suffer and they have some type of integrity and some type of ethics. You can't have people feeling threatened to be taken advantage of, scared to speak up. That's what happened in adoption services. That would happen in nursing homes. They don't report abuse. Sometimes they're scared. Well, I might not get my meal. I might not be treated right if I say anything. Though they feel intimidated. You can't have that among people. You can't have that among the American public. Scared to speak up because they fear, well, something's gonna happen to me if I speak up. You have to speak up so you can protect your rights. Because the less you speak up, the more the person who take away your rights, the more they're going to get them inch. They're going to take them out. They're not going to stop.
That's
until
right.
they feel some type of threat. Okay, thank you, Red Sharpton.
All right, Demetrius, thank you. Good to hear your voice. Let me go to my activist extraordinaire in Chicago, Illinois, the one and only Sister Pam. Sister Pam.
You. Hey, Reverend Sharpton, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Overall, I am well, still continuing the fight and trying to get the message across. So first and foremost, I wanted to tell people that, remember, the adjudicated sexual abuser called the military people suckers and losers. So no matter what he says, we know that he does not have any respect for military service.
None.
So he'll do anything, none whatsoever. So let's be clear. And let me also be clear. He's been accused of rape by multiple women, Reverend Sharpton. Rape is a violent crime. So if you will do that, then you will do anything. And Judge Kaplan said what he did was tantamount to rape based on what Judge Kaplan's understanding of New York's penal code. So let's just be clear about who he is and how violent he will become. His goal is total dominance and takeover, and we must stop him. And he has a political party, the Republicans, who are helping him carry out his fascist regime. Those are the facts. And we see it laid out before us, and we better believe what we see. And they want to instill fear from speaking, protesting, just trying to exercise our rights as citizens, and then also what's under the Constitution, which he has no understanding of, and he doesn't even care. So I think we can all agree on that. Even those who supported him can agree about that, I hope. So in saying that and relating it to where we are now with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, I want to be clear, Reverend Sharpton, about our message. Because for all the keynote speakers for this time, there should be a single theme. And it has to revolve around freedom. But I'm asking, Reverend Sharpton, please let us go beyond that this is a day of service and volunteering.
Right.
It's got to be more than that, because we have someone in the Oval Office who is pushing back on everything that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King fought for. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Just the right to protest, the right to live free, civil liberties. So, and talk about the eradication of racism. Dr. King spoke eloquently about the eradication of racism, equity, and equality. And so I would hope that all of the keynote speakers would at least do him the honor of maybe going back and then reading some of the excerpts from his speech. But this has got to be more than a let's get along and let's go volunteer. His life, his legacy was so much more than that. And for those who knew him, your life is more than that. Reverend Jesse Jackson, Sr., his life. I wish we had his voice in this day too. And that's not to take anything away from USEF or the leadership that is at Rainbow Push. But I'm just saying, you and Reverend Jackson have a specific set of skills and experiences that make you all uniquely qualified to deal with this person. Because they were telling us that, black civil rights leaders, civil rights organizations, that's irrelevant. See, I clearly remember some of the hosts on Chicago Black Radio who said that. And now I know the purpose. But who's standing up to the challenge but the civil rights organizations, the civil liberty organizations, attorneys? So what I'm asking is for the speakers on this day to please talk about how the person, the adjudicated sexual abuser in the Oval Office is trying to eradicate every success and the life work of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and we cannot have it. We will not stand for it. And then also I'm going to add this piece. Reverend Sharpton, we know that what the white millionaires and billionaires doing, and billionaires of other ethnic groups and religions. What are the black billionaires, although they may be few, but those that are, and the millionaires, what are they doing? What are they willing to put on the table? Because I've asked the question, is the fight only for the poor, working class, and middle class people? We do not have extended ACA, Affordable Care Act.
Right.
That has not been $10 billion in Democratic states frozen for child care, Illinois being one of them. And I don't hear the black maggot people. They're not asking this person in the White House to be civil, to be cordial, to be humane or decent. They're not asking anything of him. At least we challenge Democratic elected officials. That's why you have so much in-party fighting, Reverend Sharpton, because we push back on ideas, policies, nothing from the Republican Party, from the conservatives, which is shameful. And now they're just shooting white women, black men, anybody they want, putting zip ties on children. And they're not even a legitimate law enforcement agent. So we're clearly in a fascist state, and you have a political party who is helping them to do this. So we need the Democratic Party to be that opposition party. And seriously call it what it is. Let's talk about the corruption. Let's do a weekly account of how the corruption is costing taxpayers money. I heard a piece from Representative Crockett, just running off a litany of all the money he's wasting. And these tariffs, let me just say this, because he'll say, certain countries will pay a tariff. But it seems to me the only tariff being paid is by the American people, the citizens. Because when you hear tariffs, the retailers automatically will increase their prices on the products, goods, and services. But the other countries, they're not paying those tariffs. So that's just a big grift. Doge, D-O-G-E, Department of Grifting, everybody, that was a big grift. And now you want us to believe that, the white people have suffered because black people have received civil rights. We cannot stand for this. We have to call this propaganda, misinformation, and lies out. And I'm calling it out on every black, white, Jewish, I don't care, on every ethnic group. Because I'm asking this, the Jewish community and the Italian community, their parents and grandparents, they've gone through an atrocity, the Holocaust. They've been under dictatorship. And Reverend Sharpton, and I've asked you this before, to call a come to Jesus meeting with the Jewish community. Because I'm not hearing enough, and that's not anti-Semitic. I'm saying they know what it's like. They've heard the stories about being under Hitler. This is how Hitler got started. The person in the White House, he's not doing anything new. He's following the Hitler playbook, the dictator's playbook. And the Italian people in the Jewish community, they know this. And they need to step up and fight back more. And I'm asking you, call a meeting with them so you can have that conversation, Reverend Sharpton, in a neutral, safe space where you can put it all on the table.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. Let me hold you over, Pam, because I want you to finish that point. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Be right back, right after this. Our theme this year is we gonna straighten out tricks in 26. Straighten out tricks in 26. All the tricks is over. Changing the voting line. Straighten out tricks in 26. Selling us product but don't give us our diversity, equity, and engagement and inclusion. Straighten out tricks in 26. The tricks is over. It's fighting time. It's stand-up time. It's correcting time. Hi, it's Reverend Al Sharpton, President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to, and we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge. And we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI. We supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're going to go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI, and went in several cities around Costco's and Sharpton. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting and demand they continue DEI. We've had a sensational National Action Network convention covering the span of activity, from political empowerment to education, to how we deal with the black church, how we deal with black women developing, that has to deal with both discrimination based on gender and race. And of course, we came to Wall Street by the thousands and marched in late summer on the anniversary of the March on Washington. And people thought you could not get people out, and they came from all over the country. And we marched on Wall Street and had an enormous turnout. The only mass black march, black-led march this year. We had a lot of protests, a lot of marches. I salute all no King's marches and all. But the black organization march, it welcomed everybody. We had white, black, everybody there. Was our march on Wall Street in August. And then our Triumph Award and on into our fall agenda of organizing, mobilizing. We've expanded. We've started chapters in about 12 new cities. So I am proud of what we've done this year, but it's only the beginning, because our very rights are under attack, and they're not even being quiet about it. They want to revoke the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 may fall with this agreement. They want to end the Civil Rights Act of 64. That's what the end of DEI is about. So let us be more alert and active than ever. History will decide whether the civil rights gains of the 50s and 60s died in the 2020s. That's on your watch and mine. So if we've got to march, we have to protest, we have to lobby, we have to rally, whatever we need to do, we need to put our shoulder to the wheel more than ever. I'm going to lay out a plan on King Day, both in Harlem at our annual event and in Washington at our annual Martin Luther King Day breakfast that we do in D.C., two cities. And then, of course, all roads lead to New York to paper for our convention. We had, as I said, the largest attended convention last year in 2025. It needs to be more this year because our very existence is at stake. We also are closing our negotiations on a new headquarters, our national headquarters that befit our mission. I'm so excited about it, but I can't give you details. We're just about ready to sign the contract, but it will be something that will last longer than many of our lifetimes. So we came alive in 25, despite a hostile administration, despite the fact that a lot of people were intimidated and spooked into silence. We came alive in 25. Now we have to straighten out tricks in 26. I need you. We need each other. Let's do this. All these tricks, don't forget, Trump only won by 1.5%. He is trying to act like he has a mandate. No, he has a mission, Project 2025. We have the mandate that we can't let them undo what has been done. And we must even go further for the empowerment of all people. Happy New Year. And be focused. Thank God I was blessed to have both in my life. Both historic, strong figures. But if I misused them and listened to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. And what I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are and why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant and unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that accompany you toward what you ought to be about tonight. Everybody good to you ain't good for you. Everybody that makes you laugh sometimes end up making you a joke.
We have a shout out, so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We would go. Yeah, we was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. It's one of the slave houses. Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Good. Right, last time. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. You're live, sir. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Let's go back to Pam.
Sharpton.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding me over. And let me just make it clear. These are my words, my questions to you, Reverend Sharpton, because of your body of work and what you've done. And I've simply said this, and in your spiritual and religious beliefs. And so I'm asking our Jewish brothers and sisters who tell us that they are in alliance with us, where are you on this issue? And I'm hearing some, but I'm not hearing enough, particularly in this time as we're approaching a fascist state, which we're already in, and we have someone that wants to be a dictator. We need the Italian community because they've had experience, their forefathers had experience with Mussolini, and then Hitler. And we have the one in the White House who admires Hitler. So that's what I'm asking. And when we ask, just like we ask, what is the black entertainment industry doing?
Mm-hmm.
I would ask, What is the Jewish entertainment industry doing? What is the Jewish business community? That's not disparaging to them. That's just an identification because they ask us that all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me say my answer to that. And I think you are right to ask where's the Jewish community, Jewish leadership, entertainers, and as you say, some are there, but you want to see more. I also ask where the Arabs. One of the things that has been challenging to me is that some in our community will hold the Jewish community accountable, and rightfully so, and never ask about where are the Arabs that are asking us to stand up and march for them. And many in the Arab community have come in our community and opened stores and exploited and violated and all of that others have done. So, and reason I'm glad you raised it, because this discussion came up the other day with a guy with me in the street, is he's saying to me, Remal, I saw you took a stand about two-state solution in Israel and Palestine. He says, but you don't take a stand supporting Hamas. I said, I don't support violence for my own people. I said, well, let me ask you something. I ain't seen none of y'all at no marches for us on DEI, George Floyd, or nothing. And he put his head down. I said, I mean, you better know who you calling accountable, because we're going to have it go both ways. And I think that I am very suspicious about some people that finance a lot of our young people only against their enemies and not in our interest as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Reverend Sharpton. Because what I'm looking at, if we love this country that we call America, if that's the case and we want freedom, well, freedom is on the table and it's about to be destroyed. And that's real. So all ethnic groups, you're right. You're absolutely correct, Reverend Sharpton. And thank you
thank you
for pulling that out.
And I think you're right. When you are in a climate, and that's why I'm glad we held over to have this, because what you're saying is wise and maybe somebody out there need to hear it. When you are in a climate where people can have a videotape of a man shooting a white woman in the head twice and tell you you're not looking at what you're seeing, don't believe your lying eyes, I don't know how far we got to go to understand we are one step away from losing our freedom. I mean...
And then they call her a domestic terrorist.
Call her domestic terrorist. Call her the woman walked around the car and said, was in a car and said, I'm not mad at you, dude. And the man shoots her on tape. First of all, Pam, who holds a gun in one hand and a cell phone in the other, taping himself? I mean, this whole thing is beyond imagination. Yet, they got some of us imagining some alibi for him. Just a minute, I rarely do this, but I got to hold you over because you got me piped up. We need to talk about this. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
So good. That was beautiful. Thank you, everyone. I am humbled and grateful to be here with you tonight. I love you too. I love you too. It seems like I've known Reverend Al Sharpton all my life. My mom was such a fan of his, and And I've seen him through my life in LA at MCA Records. When I was there, he'd come through, you know, and get those people straight about our contracts and talk about that. And I haven't been honored a lot. Maybe this is my second time, and I'm 68 years old. And I've been in this business my entire life. I've never done what you would call a real job. But I am truly honored, and I'm thankful, and I love us. I love my black people. And I fight for us, and I want the women, the black women, to really know their worth. Know that they're queens. That's important to me. That's how my mother raised me. My mother was militant, I guess, when it wasn't trendy, yes. Because when I was a little girl, my mother and father would drive in Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, do or die. And when she would see police officers handling black children or a black boy or a girl, she would have my father stop and say, she'd get out of the car and she'd say, "What's going on here? Wait a minute, what you doing?" All the time. So it's natural that I'm that way because I'm so tired of seeing our black men beaten with handcuffs. They have handcuffs on. That's important to me. That's my fight. I want love in this world. We're living in some, I love you, I love you. I never knew love like this before. I can't sing because we just finished doing 3 shows back to back. And I flew in this morning and because Reverend Al wanted me to sing home. There's no way I could sing home, but okay. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes us tall grass bend into leaning, suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning. Sprinkling the sea makes it all clean. But thank you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I love you with my life.
Stephanie Mills.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks. It's about giving. It's about gratitude. It's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done, but it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love.
Let's go. Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We got to come with Sharpton phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
In London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side.
You're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go.
Dice. What's up, Doc?
So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's going to do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action going to be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it, your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survive.
You're live. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Keeping it real. Talking to Pam. Pam, you're right. We need to hold everybody accountable. We need to support everybody that has been done wrong, but we must always say, and we expect you to stand with us. And we should not be ashamed about that. That's everybody. And if people can challenge us to be accountable on their actions and we cannot do it likewise, then they're just trying to, in many ways, play on our insecurities. I keep telling people in other communities that, wait a minute, we can share power, but you can't have all the power. I don't care who you are. And I'm not looking for better slave masters. I'm looking for freedom. And we got to be very secure and self-assured about that.
Thank you. I am in total agreement. If not now, Reverend Sharpton, then when?
That's right. That's right.
And are we prepared? Because you all have set the groundwork. Now, are we willing to stand up and really do the work and the action? And let me say, yes, donate the money. It takes money and funding. Because you see, the grifter is taking all of our tax dollars.
Right.
To wage his war against us.
And you know, and you always say that, and you know, I appreciate you saying that, because nobody else in no other community that fights for their people or for all people apologize about asking people to help pay for it. I mean, give you an example. I have a staff of 73 people in National Action Network in 6 offices around the country, and then they've got their own little meeting places. But we pay the rent, 6 offices in a building. 73 employees I pay every Tuesday today. So what, my people are supposed to work for nothing? When I got them all over the country organized and stuff, people, oh man, what they doing with all that money? Well, how do you think we go to the airport? I can't go to the airport and say no justice, no peace, and they put me on the plane to come out there to fight for the Massey case in Chicago. I can't go to a hotel and say we shall overcome and they give me a room. So, I mean, the double standards they have for us, I don't blame them, I blame us, because we act like we should be defensive about that. A guy asked me the other day, said, Rev Mal, I see you dressed nice and they drive you around the SUV. I said, yeah. No, I'm just saying. He said, I'm just saying what? I said, well, you would ask any other TV host that. I also work as a TV host. I work every day as a radio host. So I can afford to do that. The movement don't pay for what I wear. But
Reverend, let me take you back, Reverend Sharpton. When you wore sweatsuits,
Yeah.
they talked about you.
Absolutely, you got that right. Well, and
So what do they want you to
and
do?
I only had 3 sweatsuits then. You right. You had a better answer than I did. I appreciate that, Pam. Well, all right, thank you for your call. Let me go to other callers. Pam got me excited today, but every once in a while that's good. Rufus in Savannah, Georgia. Rufus, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yeah, good afternoon, y'all.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna make a couple of statements. And I want to get your feedback on it.
All right.
In my in my faith journey, I always kind of wrestled with certain passages, you know, in the scripture where you say that God told Joshua, to do such and such. Told Gideon to do such and such. Told Joshua to go in and kill the cow, kill the cat, kill the baby, kill the mother, kill the grandmother, kill everything. And I often wrestled with that for a long time, especially when I was an early young child. And said, "No, that's kill that, but and I also wrestled with hell. With people going to hell. But right now, what I saw 3 days ago, now I understand. Now I understand. And I understand what the pure wicked, and I don't think that we have grasped what we looked at 3 or 4 days ago. You saw a man make a snuff film. You know what a snuff film is?
What's that?
That's when it was a trend one time, maybe about a few years back, where people would go underground and be in these different countries, and they go like ISIS, and go saw somebody's head off with a machete and film it.
Right.
This man made a snuff film. This man made an ISIS film and got half of the American government sanctioned it.
Yeah.
Half of the American government sanctioned this man, made a snuff film off a woman that said, "I ain't mad."
Right.
And was smiling. And they did worse than ISIS. They did worse than ISIS ever did, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you got half of the American. That's why I say when you go meet these people, Reverend Al, you need to find you one of them holiness churches and get them to anoint you, buy you a 5-gallon bucket of oil.
Yeah.
And get them to anoint you, because it's them some wicked things. I'm telling you, when you meet them people got some evil spirits in them, and them some wicked things. If you can sit and watch that woman, I done been around some bad dudes in my life. I'm telling you, but man, if you can sit and watch a man kill a woman like that,
yeah, and act like it's nothing. No, it goes back to what you say, Rufus, that you're a man of the scriptures. And, it says in Ephesians, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. No, there's wicked. These people are wicked. I mean,
I ain't no doubt about
principalities, wickedness in high places is the scripture. There's something spiritually corrupt about these people, that you can kill an unarmed woman, like you said, smiling, saying, "I ain't mad at you, dude." And then the president of the United States come out and lie on the woman before you can get her body to the hospital or to the morgue and say she was a terrorist. She was a terrorist. They ain't done no investigation. They ain't checked nothing. She was an urban terrorist. I mean, that takes some wickedness to step over a dead body and lie on them like that. For no reason.
Lord have mercy. That's all I can say.
Well,
That's all I can say.
All right. God bless you. Thank you for your call.
Yeah.
Let me go to Miss Richardson in Chevy Chase, Maryland. Miss Richardson, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, dear. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
That's good. You know, now, you know I had made some resolutions that I threw out there. And I wish we would at least look at them, because I think we need to look at the three branches of the government, why they're being hush-hush about Donald Trump. They won't open their mouths, not even the liberals or the Democratic Supreme Court women up there. You know what I'm talking about, those two women that's supposed to be representing the civil rights and everything else. They got their mouths shut. So we can't just blame it on white.
Wait a minute. The Honorable Justice Jackson and Sonia Meyer have both stepped up and opposed all of these decisions. They have opened their mouth. They just don't have the majority of the vote.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, why can't they go to the floor or, project something on our screen on the news, PBS or one of those news shows?
What do you mean, go to the floor in the Supreme Court?
Well, I mean, even that. I mean, why don't they do that? Because I have not seen them.
You're not allowed to have cameras in the Supreme Court hearings. I've been there. And they express themselves from the bench, and then the right wingers express themselves from the bench. But they've been very vocal. Both them and Sonia. Sonia has been vocal. I'm trying to think, and Kagan has been vocal. All three of them women.
Okay, well, I'm just saying I don't really see them. I mean. Wherever we are to see, if they're saying that from their benches, and then cameras are not allowed, all right. So I guess it's very hard to really know what they're saying then, because I don't hear them on C-SPAN making any comments or anything. It's just these Republicans and Democrats fighting each other like little, spoiled children and little brats. Going at each other on C-SPAN.
Yeah, but you don't see Judge Roberts and the conservative justices on C-SPAN either. They cannot allow cameras in the Supreme Court. So neither side. You're right that they got Republicans, Democrats on, but that's Republican, Democrats, senators, congressmen, activists. You don't see Supreme Court justices on C-SPAN arguing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I never see them. I'm just saying, I just see, the Democrat wing people, that's speaking on behalf of the Democrats, and the ones speaking for the Republican side on the House. Those are the only ones that they'll bring on as guests to talk about it. But, Rev, I wish that we would conduct ourselves in a way to where we're really trying to go after these three branches, because...
Wait, hold a minute. Hold on. I'm going to hold you over. Hold on a minute. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
The King, Dr. Richardson. Most of all, let me thank Reverend Al Sharpton for bringing us all here together today. The Urban Action Network. I am proud to be a candidate for the presidency of the United States of America. But I am mindful that I wouldn't be here if it had not been for Reverend Al Sharpton running for president, and Carol Moseley Brown running for president, and Jesse Jackson running for president, and Shirley Chisholm running for president. They paved the way, and I stand on their shoulders.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
I celebrate the day you were born. You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
For over 3 decades, the National Action Network has stood on the front lines for our communities, fighting for justice, lifting up the voiceless, and showing up where it matters most. Presidents, world leaders, and global changemakers have all testified to Reverend Al Sharpton's impact and National Action Network legacy of good trouble in the fight for equality. This holiday season, our commitment grows even stronger. We're expanding food distributions, toy drives, and direct support for families who need us now more than ever. Stop right now and join the movement.
No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We never shy, never shake. Give me a papa God, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughters started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others. The way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go on our message board and you can put a message on the message board. Mayor Rodney Jones says, out of Queensbridge houses in New York, the nurses' strike here in New York City is serious. Mount Sinai is one of the healthcare networks that are a part of the strike. Mount Sinai Network terminated all patients that have Anthem, Blue Cross, Blue Shield. Very serious strike, and certainly Nan and I in support of it. Democracy.fund says, I just remembered that thumbs up button. Have you done it yet? Only 50 likes. He wants some more likes. Hit that thumbs up button. Brian is right. And let me again talk about Brian and y'all. I am in Philly tomorrow night doing the Community National Action Network rally. And we will be there. I will be there 7 o'clock tomorrow night at the Monumental Baptist Church, 4948 Locust Street in Philadelphia. So I'll do the show, hit the road, and do the rally tomorrow night, and then go on to Lincoln University on Thursday to do the convocation. So make sure our Philly people are there. And I'm going then on to Lincoln University Thursday to do the convocation to kick off our National Action Network Ascend HBCU tour. Then head on back to New York for the Saturday Action Rally in Harlem. Kicking off King Week, I'm going to have the new chancellor of the schools with me. And then, of course, head to do Politics Nation Saturday and Sunday. Then head to Washington, D.C. And may, well, I won't announce that yet, may make a move, but going to Washington for our Martin Luther King holiday breakfast. Martin Luther King III, Andrea Waters King, and I host, honoring this year Eric Holder and the former Attorney General, and honoring him, honoring Sheila Johnson, co-founder of BET with her former husband Bob Johnson. She's now a black woman, owns more hotels than anyone in the country, any black woman in the country, honoring her, Donna Brazil, and honoring Mayor Scott of Baltimore, Maryland, then fly right back to New York. And 1 o'clock starts the King Day Public Policy Forum. We've been doing this 35 years. Every National Action Network is 35 years old. Every King Day, we've done it. And we have the elected officials come in front of the people and speak about what they're doing with legislation or in governing that's in line with Martin Luther King's philosophy, spirit, and principles. And because King Day should not be about shopping, it should not be about just singing. It should be about policy. That's why Dr. King was in history. And Governor Hochul will be there giving her account. Mayor Mandani will be there. Tish James, the state attorney general, will be there. Senator Schumer, on and on and on, will all be at the House of Justice, 1 o'clock on Monday. So now people say, oh, Reverend, you doing from Lincoln University to Philly, Raleigh to D.C. to Harlem? Yeah, if I can do all of that, you can just get up and come to one of them. If you're in Philly tomorrow, or come to something in honor of Dr. King. We work on weekends. I'm going back to the phones, but I'm joined, as I am every Tuesday at this hour, by the senior pastor of the First Corinthian Baptist Church in the village of Harlem, and noted author, as well as a board member of the National Action Network National Board, Reverend Dr. Michael Walron. How you doing, Reverend?
Pretty good, Reverend Sharpton. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Let Miss Richardson finish, and then got a couple of questions I want to come to you and others on the phone. Go ahead, Miss Richardson.
Yes, dear. Okay. Now, I'd like to get you and maybe Dr. Warren's opinion. This man is sending in 1,000 more ICE agents into Minneapolis where the lady was killed. You know, this is, I mean, don't taxpayers, gentlemen, do we taxpayers pay for that? Or is Trump paying for it? Because I'm sick of paying taxes. And this man is taking it out on us. And, you know, he sees us as peasants. The books, A Tale of Two Cities, the one rich and one poor. and he's prescribing by that. He's a subscriber of those books, I think, because he's evil. He reads books like that. He wants to be the king of the world. And I mean, Rev, I don't mean to keep going about the three branches, but I'm going to hang up and let you speak to it. Why don't the three branches of this government, and I'm laying off the Supreme Court because you just explained it to me, so I'm not going to sound like I'm ignorant. You're going to repeat it to me that you told me, because I know. But I'm saying the House and the Senate, all these people are being paid handsomely by Trump to keep their mouths shut. And that Christie woman, oh my God, when that woman said that, I got red as a turnip. I wanted to go into the TV and knock her head off, lying like that about that incident. And I'm going to hang up. We're making some Mapo, and I want to hear my darling and Reverend Warren respond. And you gentlemen have a nice day.
We'll respond. You enjoy your Mapo. Reverend Warren, then thank you, Ms. Richardson, for your call. I spent a lot of time in Minneapolis around George Floyd. I did the eulogy at his funeral there. We did a lot of marches and vigils. There was a lot of activists there that was doing other things. And we were able to, for the first time in the history of that state, get white policemen. And this was collective. I was talking to some of the grassroots activists over the weekend, Miss Armstrong and others. It was not just us, but it was people on the ground, and they've been on the ground ever since. I would have, as long as I've been out here, never imagined that in that same city, a federal officer would shoot a white woman in the head twice, and the President of the United States say she was a terrorist. She was causing trouble. I mean, and I'm saying this, reminding everybody, Trump was the president when George Floyd happened. Now we got another national crisis involving law enforcement, and he's president again, and just as adamant. It is like this is deeper than a law enforcement issue. There is a real ethical and moral problem in this country, in the spirit of this country, where you can look at the mother of two children and just shoot her in the head because she said something you didn't like, and they're going to automatically come out and say, you have immunity? I mean, I could imagine this kind of scenario if it wasn't happening.
Yeah, Rev, there's an old saying that I know you're familiar with, that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I think we're seeing the absolute corruption that takes place when power becomes reckless and uncontrolled. I think that's what we're witnessing now with this president. I think that I'm with you, Rev. To label it, I think many people, most of them have seen the tape, the footage from both perspectives, and to label her a terrorist, to say it was justified, to say that the ICE agent his life was in jeopardy, I think all that is a stretch of the imagination. But what we see is what happens when someone has power and gives power to those, and they know there will be no ramifications, no consequences to their actions. And so that's what we're facing right now. I think that's what they realize. No matter what they do, the president is going to defend, justify, and there will be no real consequences to the actions that we see taking place. It's not just full-on murders. There's kidnappings taking place. People are being snatched off the streets. And if we didn't know better, we wouldn't think this was the United States. We'd have thought this was some third world country that had some kind of dictator in charge. And the truth is, that's what we look like right now, from the outside looking in for many people. So I think what it does is it also accentuates the fact that many people feel very helpless and feel like there's nothing that can be done. And we are just bearing witness to this collective destruction and danger and insanity daily. What I will say, Rev, and I know it may not seem like much to people, but I'm gonna beat a dead horse. Elections have consequences, period. And I think we're looking at the other end of the spectrum in terms of the worst possible consequences that could be from an election. from the Supreme Court, a conservative Supreme Court that seems to support the president on some things, not all things, to a Republican Congress, a Republican Senate, and a Republican president. We're seeing what happens when you have control of these three branches of government, rather. And I think that's why people are getting frustrated. But that's why more than ever, among the protests and among the public displays of frustration, anger, and disappointment, I think now more than ever we have to be talking about these midterms and voting, because it's critical.
Absolutely.
It's critical, Rev.
Absolutely. Let's take a break. We'll be right back going to the phone. I see Evangelist Ramsey, activist extraordinaire in New York, saying grace and peace, everyone. I closed the year at Huddle and opened it the same. Ashley, Dominique, and Christian are doing great work. I'm so proud of how the Lord is molding them. I pray God will order some of my steps 2026 to attend at twice a month. And she's talking about Huddle is our youth department. They meet on Monday nights and at the House of Justice. And I'm sure they are encouraged that I read it on the air. Let's take a break. Be right back. Sharpton, Walron. Be right back. Our theme this year is we're going to straighten out tricks in 26. Straighten out tricks in 26. All the tricks is over. Changing the voting line. Straighten out tricks in 26. Selling us product but don't give us our diversity, equity, and engagement and inclusion. Straighten out tricks in 26. The tricks is over. It's fighting time. It's stand-up time. It's correcting time.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
All over the world today, people are gathered in love vigils to celebrate the life of a man that taught the world how to love. People may be wondering why there's such an emotional outburst, but you would have to understand the journey of Michael to understand what he meant to all of us. For these that sit here as the Jackson family, a mother and father with 9 children that rose from a working class family in Gary, Indiana. They had nothing but a dream. No one believed in those days that these kind of dreams could come true. But they kept on believing, and Michael never let the world turn him around from his dreams. I first met Michael around 1970, Black Expo, Chicago, Illinois, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who stood by this family till now. And from that day as a cute kid to this moment, he never gave up dreaming. It was that dream that changed culture all over the world. When Michael started, it was a different world. But because Michael kept going, because he didn't accept limitations, because he refused to let people decide his boundaries, he opened up the whole world. In the music world, he put on one glove, pulled his pants up, and broke down the color curtain, where now our videos are shown and magazines put us on the cover. It was Michael Jackson that brought blacks and whites and Asians and Latinos together. It was Michael Jackson that made us sing "We Are the World" and feed the hungry long before Live Aid. because Michael Jackson kept going. He created a comfort level where people that felt they were separate became interconnected with his music. And it was that comfort level that kids from Japan and Ghana and France and Iowa and Pennsylvania got comfortable enough with each other to later it wasn't strange to us to watch Oprah on television. It wasn't strange to watch Tiger Woods golf. Those young kids grew up from being teenage, comfortable fans of Michael to being 40 years old and being comfortable to vote for a person of color to be the president of the United States of America. Michael did that. Michael made us love each other. Michael taught us to stand with each other. There are those that like to dig around mess, but millions around the world, we're going to uphold his message. It's not about mess, it's about his love message. As you climb up steep mountains, sometimes you scar your knee. Sometimes you break your skin, but don't focus on the scars. Focus on the journey. Michael beat him. Michael rose to the top. He outsang his cynics. He outdanced his doubters. He outperformed the pessimists. Every time he got knocked down, he got back up. Every time you counted him out, he came back in. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. I want to say to Mrs. Jackson and Joe Jackson, his sisters and brothers, we thank you for giving us someone that taught us love, someone that taught us hope. We want to thank you because we know it was your dream too. And we know that your heart is broken. I know you have some comfort from the letter from the President of the United States and Nelson Mandela, but this was your child. This was your brother. This was your cousin. Nothing will fill your heart's loss. But I hope the love that people are showing will make you know he didn't live in vain. And I want his 3 children to know, wasn't nothing strange about your daddy. It was strange what your daddy had to deal with, but he dealt with it. He dealt with it anyway. He dealt with it for us. So some came today, Mrs. Jackson, to say goodbye to Michael. I came to say thank you. Thank you because you never stopped. Thank you because you never gave up. Thank you because you never gave out. Thank you because you tore down our divisions. Thank you because you eradicated barriers. Thank you because you gave us hope. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael.
But I also want to add how they're changing what can't be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes blacks. We don't want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they are literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started in Harvard with a black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in the Ivy League school like Harvard. You got to stop really walking at the high school. This fight, this guy.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron is our co-host. I'm coming to the phones. Ray, Janet, Jihad Hole, I'm coming to you in a minute, but let me ask you this, Reverend Walron. The question of Venezuela, I have to ask you your view. He goes, captures a head of state in his home, arrests his wife and him, bring them here, put them in the federal jail in Brooklyn. I know it well. When I led the protests in Puerto Rico, they flew me here, and I had to do 3 months in that jail. And we're told it was done because of drug trafficking. When he had just pardoned about 10 days before the former head of state of Honduras, who was in jail in the United States for drug trafficking, convicted, not just charged, convicted by a jury and sentenced to 45 years in jail for drug trafficking. Trump pardoned him in the same month he went and got Maduro. Now, I'm no apologist for Maduro. Maduro was an anti-democracy tyrant. But the precedent it sets. Now, are we living at a time now where you can just go in any one sovereign state, sovereign nation, and grab up the one president and pardon another? Talk about the threat to this, because you touched on it in discussing what's going on in Minneapolis, but the global threat, if to be able to deal with this and then say blatantly, well, we're going to take over the oil, and meet with the heads of the oil companies. So we're down to the Monroe Doctrine with steroids, where you can just go ahead and say, I'm just going to take the wealth and I'm going to move the president out. And they haven't even changed the government. They have not called for an election. He is not, in fact, he's meeting with the opposition leader, I understand, tomorrow or Thursday. I mean, this is unbelievable, but it is believable because it happened.
It's happening, Rev. And again, I'm going to stress this because what we see, one, is this ethical and moral inconsistency and hypocrisy. It has you looking at the situation. You know that whatever comes out of the president's mouth to justify these kinds of actions, that the first thing is usually the lie, the second thing is usually the lie, and somewhere down the road, the truth, the revelation of the truth comes out. I think most people who paid attention to this situation in Venezuela knew it was about the oil, and it was about America trying to gain control of the oil in Venezuela. But the glaring inconsistency and hypocrisy doesn't make sense. So you have someone who is morally, ethically inconsistent. You can't really measure the weight of what they say, because everything they say to justify action is going to be based on what is morally expedient, not what is morally consistent. I think that's what we're witnessing now with this president. And again, Rev, we're in a situation where we're living in the aftermath of the consequences of the elections. There seemingly is nothing that can be done from a political standpoint. You have Republicans who have no backbone, who in many ways are allowing him and giving the president carte blanche power. You have Democrats who, I don't know what the plan is, but they seem to be in the same boat on some situations, in some circumstances, having no backbone as Republicans. So it gives you this moment of just waiting. I don't know what more is going to happen. And honestly, I don't know how much more a Republican can take of this reckless and gross deviation from law and what is right and what is morally consistent. And it is a tragedy of epic proportions, but it's something that we need to pay close attention to. And we're living in it right now, which means we have the capacity to change some things. We need to do that.
Let's go back to the phone. Let me go to Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio. Ray.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call, Rev, and hello to your guest. Rev, earlier I heard, and I kind of tuned in late, but I heard some of your conversation with Pam, and you guys were talking about where the Jewish leaders, the Arab leaders, the Italian leaders, and I'm going to go one step further. Now, I could be wrong because, I'm not watching MS now up and down, but I watch Nicole a lot. And I've not seen any press conferences by any groups of Latino leaders. Voto Latino. Like I said, it could be, but I've not seen it. And straighten me out if I'm wrong. But let me say this. 95% of ICE, and it could be 100%, they're targeting the Latino, the Mexican communities, and what they're doing is profiling. Now, 80% from what I see, and I go to Walmart a lot, 80% of people I see in Walmart, they're Latinos and Mexicans. But you don't hear anything coming from the owners of Walmart. They're billionaires. That's their base. That's their base. And so I would hope that the owners of Walmart will come out and say, hey, we don't condone this. These folks, 80% of Latinos, they're coming into our stores. They're making us millions and billions of dollars. So I just want to throw that out and get your take on it. But let me say this real quick. If Trump doesn't pardon this guy who killed that lady a couple days ago, the next Democrat administration will go after him. And I don't know if the family of this young lady is thinking about filing a civil suit, but hopefully they don't do it now because they'll never win now. They should wait till the next administration come out.
Well, I'm in touch with some of the lawyers that are in touch with them, and we'll know some things by tomorrow. So just stay tuned. Let me go to Brother Jihad, the sage of the South. Let me take my break, Jihad, and I'll come right back to you and to Janet and others on the phone. Let's take a break. Keep it real. Sharpton, Walron. Be right back.
London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go.
Guys! What's up, Doc?
So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's going to do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action going to be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it. Your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survived.
Yes, sir.
There's no history in the world of any people that went through the kind of psychological, cultural, and physical slavery like blacks did in America. The only reason we're still here is because of our faith. We had no external strength. We had an internal strength. And it was the God that we were taught by our mamas and grandmamas that brought us through. And I don't care who's sitting in the White House, we cannot betray the God that brought us through.
Reverend Sharpton, how do we begin to make peace with our past?
I don't think it's our obligation to make peace with our past. I think it's our obligation to learn from our past and to understand that soon we gonna be the past. I mean, a lot of us act like we gonna be permanent and that the past is the past. If we draw on the strengths of the past and uphold the dignity and the integrity of our people, and then perform it at our highest level in our generation, as Dr. Moss said, that's our obligation. You know, one of the reasons that I've been so concerned about this cultural tone that we're in now is a lot of us have lost the dignity that our community has shown from Jamestown to now. I've questioned some of the artists that no longer sing to uplift us. And there's never been a generation that didn't use our music and our culture to lift us up. And the excuse is where they say, well, we just want to show what's there. But we never just accepted what was there. We always looked at what was there and looked through it and brought our people the way it needed to be. So in slavery time, we were singing Go Down Moses and Swing Low Sweet Chariot. We wasn't singing about the cotton picking nigga in the field. That's what we saw, but that's not what we sang. In slavery, in segregation time, we were singing We Shall Overcome. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We wasn't singing the hoe in the back of the bus. So where is this coming from? And that's what we need to challenge. I wish, you know, all of this about our friend Barack announcing today, I wish Obama had announced here, because Lincoln did not free us. The abolitionist movement freed us. Lincoln accommodated to freedom fighters. He was not a freedom fighter. Kennedy accommodated the king. Johnson accommodated the king. We got to quit giving the wrong people credit for our history.
Some people report the news, others interpret it, but there are those who transform it into truth. Ari Melba has redefined journalism with intellect, creativity, and courage. He blends culture and current events, politics and poetry, truth and transparency. And in doing so, he reminds us that storytelling is a sacred work. Ari understands that our narratives shape our nation, and he has used his platform to highlight issues that matter to the people, not just to the powerful. Tonight we honor him for bridging art and activism, for using his voice to educate, inspire, and empower. Join me, please, in celebrating Ari Melba, recipient of the President's Award of Historic Transformative Leadership.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. How are you guys doing? First of all, Babyface is 67 years old. We might need a fact check on that. What an honor to be up here with Rev and everyone else. When Rev started out, they said, he's just doing this to get on TV. Now he has a TV show. He kept along and they said, well, he's just setting himself up to run for office, be a politician. Now he has the politicians coming here to be accountable to you. We're celebrating his 51st birthday. I think he's planning to run for office in the late 70s or 80s, although he can do that nowadays. I don't know if you've heard.
Keeping it real. We ready.
Tell, maybe he was doing it for the people.
Keeping it real. Love y'all. Reverend Al Sharpton, Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron is our co-host. Don't forget, tomorrow, as in Wednesday, as in January 14th, as in the eve of the Martin Luther King actual holiday, tomorrow at 7 p.m., you in the Philadelphia area, WURD area, Word, we're kicking off our HBCU tour. I'm going to start it with a community voter education and voter engagement rally at the Monumental Baptist Church at 4948 Locust Street in Philadelphia. Reverend Dr. Jesse Mapson is the host pastor. I'll be there. We're starting at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. I'll be doing the show, and then I'm hitting the road. Meet me, Philly, in Philadelphia, Monumental Baptist at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And then on Thursday, I'll be opening the tour at Lincoln University, where I'm doing the speech for their convocation, and then we break down in starting our workshops as we start. National Action Networks will send HBCU tour going all over the country. That's how we're starting on King Day. So we're starting Philly the night before and then go on to Lincoln University. Then I'm back in New York Saturday for the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice, 145th Street, Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. You in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me in the house, King Weekend. We really need to break down on what would Dr. King expect of us today. Our new New York City school chancellor, Kamar Samuels, will be with us on Saturday morning. Then headed to Washington, D.C., where we are going to do our annual Martin Luther King holiday breakfast. We've done this every year now, I think about 20 years. We do the nation's capital honoring. We've had two presidents of the United States come as president, and we'll be honoring this Monday former Attorney General Eric Holder, the owners of more hotels than any black woman in the country, co-founder of BET, Sheila Johnson. In fact, we're doing it at her hotel, Salamander. We're honoring Donna Brazile, and we're honoring the mayor of Baltimore, who's done such a great job on crime, Mayor Scott. And both Saturday and Sunday, I'll be live on Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live on MS Now. I've already booked, obviously, and we'll have on Martin Luther King III and Andrew Waters King on Sunday night. On the holiday eve, we're going to have them on their co-chair our breakfast. We're going to have also members of the Congress and the Senate deal with all these issues from Minnesota to what is going on with the whole Venezuela question, because by then Trump would have met with the lady from Venezuela, I believe tomorrow or Thursday. So a lot going on, and somebody said, Remal, you all over the place. It gets me tired listening. Well, you try doing it. If I can do it, you can keep up or at least come to one of them along the way. Do not take this weekend to go off. Go on, especially on a weekend when they're trying to take Dr. King holiday back. Reverend Dr. Walron, what's going on at 1 Corinthians?
We're moving along, Rev. This weekend, I'll actually be in L.A. for our service. Our services in L.A. on Saturdays at 10 a.m. at the Miracle Theater. So those who are in Inglewood, California, in Los Angeles, we'll be at 226 South Market Street on Saturday. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. for 10 a.m. worship service. And it is an exciting space to be in, Rev.
Now, that's in L.A. at 10 a.m. And you that are out there, we have a big Los Angeles audience, should go there. You've never experienced nothing like Reverend Walron. I'm glad you announced it on the air. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
All
and
right.
We're back-to-back weekend, so we're really building up, Rev, so it's amazing.
It is. Sounds amazing. Let me go to the phone. Let me go to Jihad, the sage of the South. You're keeping it real with Sharpton and Reverend Dr. Walron.
Thank you, Reverend Al and Dr. Walron. Reverend Al, I'll be real quick. I'm going to say this real fast. To the gentleman that just called to say he doesn't see any protests from other groups. I can't name a national Muslim figure other than Minister Farrakhan, and I've heard him speak on this particular issue. But any other Muslim group, I don't know a national spokesman. For Latinos, I don't know a national spokesman. I just want to remind the gentleman that there were 1,000 cities in America that had protests over the weekend, and those particular groups that he's talking about participated in those particular protests, marches against this particular imbecile that's in the White House. The beauty of black people is we do things because it's the right thing to do, not because somebody else doesn't do. That's been our history, that's our culture, that's our DNA. You know what I mean? Our motivation is to please the Creator and what is correct. That's in all three faiths that we belong to and African indigenous faith. So we don't base our support for what is right based upon other people not moving on what's right. I wanted to throw that out there. But give me 1 second. I want to read something to you real quick. You want to take a second. And it's Andrew Jackson, Defiance of the Court. After the Supreme Court ruled for the Cherokee, Jackson famously, though possibly, I can't figure that word. John Marshall has made his decision. Now let him enforce it. That's what Andrew Jackson said.
That's right.
To the Supreme Court. So Trump put whose picture up in the White House?
Andrew Jackson. It's the guy you
Andrew
read.
Jackson. You know what I mean? So clearly this guy is following a pattern that he believes, and that he's attempting to imitate and to enforce the presidency of Andrew Jackson. And Andrew Jackson's presidency wasn't any good for us at all. You know what I mean? I just wanted to read that to the public.
No, that's great. That's great. You read
Understand
that.
why this guy's motivated. And thanks a lot. I'll
Thank
call
you.
tomorrow. I have some other stuff to say.
All right, I'll
you
be here
at the end.
tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow for Head to Philly.
Okay.
And I think that's important because the historic lineage that you and I talk about, Reverend Walron, a lot, back to Dr. King or Dr. William Jones or even before them, you got to remember, Jihad really brought in a great point, that there is a lineage of those that believe in white supremacy and elitism at the top. And it didn't start with Trump, but Trump believes in that. Now, he may have a brazen, more gutter way of expressing it, but this is a lineage all the way through American history. The question is, are we going to stand up in our lineage? So I totally agree with Jihad. If nobody ever came out there and fight, I'd have to fight because that's who we are. It's in our DNA. And, I'd like to see other people come, but if nobody show up, most black folks have never marched. We only had 1 million man march in our whole history here. Don't act like everybody listening to me been marching. So I think that there are those of us that stand in the spirit and in the lineage of our people And we have to accept there are people that are in evil lineage and even evil spirits that carry out what we're seeing that is being carried out today in the White House.
Absolutely. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. The tragedy is that it is clear that Trump and those who are the puppet masters understand the historical significance of their actions, and they've historically contextualized their actions to make connections to previous administrations and previous power regimes in this country. As you said, the issue is, do we contextualize the activism the same way? Do we contextualize our history the same way, not to repeat, but to learn from and see strategies that that we can implement to move forward? And I think that's a powerful point. They operate in an old playbook. This is not a new playbook. This is an old playbook we've seen over the centuries in this country. And I think we have to begin to understand that so that we don't have to be reactionary all the time. We can actually be proactive when we think about how to face this. Think about it, Rev. There are people who are looking at what's happening right now saying, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? This man's going to be in office for 3 more years. That means we can actually be strategic while we fight at the same time.
That's right.
To think about strategies, not strategies to confront Trump, the strategies to help shift the kind of political dynamics that are in play right now from the federal level all the way down to the local level. We have to engage. I said this Sunday in the pulpit that we can't just be mad and every day on social media venting our frustrations. What are we prepared to do? And that means action. And sometimes in these historical moments, action seems like it's not enough, but there's action that can be taken. I said one more thing. If we put people in Congress or in the Senate to represent our best interests, and they're not doing that, they need to realize there can be consequences for not representing their constituents effectively. We have to stop giving our elected officials passes and going through the routine when it comes to vote. Hold them accountable. If you have elected officials who are not speaking truth to power, who are not facing the corruption and the insanity and saying nothing, hold them to task and don't put them back in office, Rev.
Absolutely right, and I think that it's absolutely right, and I think that it is. I believe that if we would stand up and do what is right, that we will be the beneficiaries of our labor. And I think that's one of the things, the legacies of Dr. King, is that we talk about his strategic mind, and he did have that, but it was also he was driven by a spiritual force that just to do what's right. When he came out in the later part of his career, and he never reached 40 years old, and came out a year before his assassination against the war in Vietnam, the head of the NAACP and the Urban League held a press conference announcing him, saying, "You're hurting our civil rights president, Lyndon Johnson." He said, "But I got to do what's right. And I can't call for nonviolence in America and be for war in the Vietnamese people in Asia." It sometimes it's just right to be right. And I think that that's one of the things we ought to talk more about on Dr. King Weekend. But let me know, I'm looking at the clock. I know we're getting ready to run out of time. There's the music. Let me thank you, Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through and hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever we do, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. Talk to you tomorrow.